Hi, this is Annie from Prep Scholar. In this lesson, we're going to give you some tips for the TOEFL listening section. Some questions on the listening section ask us about the main topic of the recording that we have just heard. For these questions, like most of the questions on the listening section, we want to use our notes to answer them. These questions ask about the entire recording, but the answer to them will often be given or suggested in one part of the recording. So it will often be pretty simple to find the answer to these questions in our notes. In this lesson, we'll explain how to do that. A main topic question asks for the main topic. Often, these questions are easy to recognize because they use the words main or mainly. For example, what is the main topic that the professor discusses? What is the lecture mainly about? What are the speakers mainly talking about? Sometimes a question will be a main topic question, but it will not actually use the words main or mainly. For example, what is the lecture about? What is the topic of conversation? Even then, however, we should be able to tell it's a main topic question. The key to these questions is that they are asking for an overall topic of a lecture or conversation, not just about a specific part of it. Our ability to answer main topic questions will depend on our notes. Specifically, we should take good notes on the beginning of the recording, the ending of the recording, and parts of the recording indicated by certain key phrases. Start with the beginning. We should always take careful notes on the beginning of recordings. These are important for all kinds of listening questions, but they're especially important for main topic questions. For example, listen to this beginning of a recording.
Okay, everybody. Good to see you all today. I know it's been a busy week for you. Lots of you have exams this week, so I'm glad you could make it to today's lecture. So in the last lecture, we talked about traditional farming methods. Now, today, we're going to talk about organic farming. You've heard of organic farming, of course. It's been in the news a lot lately.
What did we learn from this part of the recording? Well, if we were taking good notes, they might include something like the following. Lots of students have exams this week. Last lecture about traditional framing methods. Today's lecture about organic farming. Organic farming in the news lately. Notice that we did not take notes on every single word the professor said. For example, we didn't take notes on his greeting the students. Good to see you all today. But we did take notes on most of the content of what he said. As we're going to see, this will be useful for answering main topic questions. We should also always take good notes on the ending of recordings. Like beginnings, endings are important for all kinds of listening questions, but they are also important for main topic questions. Listen to this end of a recording.
So, it turns out that the Library of Alexandria was not actually destroyed in a single fire after all. As I've explained today, it was slowly destroyed over a period of several decades. So don't always believe these famous myths. Okay, I'll see you all next week.
Our notes on this part of the recording might look something like this. Library of Alexandria not destroyed in fire. Slowly destroyed over several decades. Do not always believe myths. Again, we don't need to take notes on every single word, but our notes should capture the content of what is said in the lecture. And this is especially true for the end, as well as the beginning of the lecture. So, to answer main topic questions, It's important to take careful notes on both the beginning and the end of lectures. It's also helpful to notice certain key phrases that can be used to introduce the main topic of the recording. Here are some examples from the recordings we heard. Today we're going to talk about, as I've explained today, here are some other examples of key phrases. This lecture will be about, I will argue that, my point has been, so it turns out that. You might not hear these exact phrases in the recording, but remember, whenever you hear a phrase that is introducing or summarizing a main point from the lecture, take notes that follow the phrase. Now, if we have taken good notes, then we are well prepared to answer a main topic question. So, how exactly do we answer a main topic question? We should not look at the answer choices, at least not yet. Instead, we should try to guess the answer to the question using our notes. If we have followed the advice above, we should have good notes on both the beginning and the end of the lecture. And these will normally be enough for us to make a good guess about the answer to the main topic question. For example, let's say the recording we are listening to begins like this.
Okay, everybody. Good to see you all today. I know it's been a busy week for you. Lots of you have exams this week. So I'm glad you could make it to today's lecture. So in the last lecture, we talked about traditional farming methods. Now, today, we're going to talk about organic farming. You've heard of organic farming, of course. It's been in the news a lot lately.
And let's say the question is, what is the lecture mainly about? Well, when we heard this recording earlier, these were our notes. Lots of students have exams this week. Last lecture about traditional farming methods. Today's lecture about organic farming. Organic farming in the news lately. Notice we've highlighted one of the items in our notes. This item uses a key phrase. It says what today's lecture is about. So it is likely that item is the one that tells us the main topic of the lecture. So, on the basis of that item in our notes, we can predict the following as an answer to the question. The lecture is mainly about organic farming. Now that we've made our guess, we can compare it to the answers. Here's the question again, now with the answer choices included. What is the lecture mainly about? 1. History of farming. 2. This week's exams. 3. Traditional farming methods. And 4. The rise of organic farming. Remember, we guessed that the lecture is mainly about organic farming. Let's compare that to these answer choices. Choice 1 is about farming, but it doesn't mention organic farming. It seems too general to be the main topic. Choice 2 is about this week's exams. These are mentioned at the beginning of the lecture, but they're not what the lecture is about. Choice 3 is about traditional farming methods. This is also mentioned at the beginning of the lecture, and it's about farming, but it doesn't fit our guess about what the lecture is about. Choice 4 is much closer to what we guessed. We said that the lecture is about organic farming, while this says it's especially about the rise of organic farming. That's pretty close. So this is the right answer. Do you see how that works? Now, try it yourself. Say this is the end of the recording.
So, it turns out that the Library of Alexandria was not actually destroyed in a single fire after all. As I've explained today, it was slowly destroyed over a period of several decades. So don't always believe these famous myths. Okay, I'll see you all next week.
Now, look at this question. What aspect of the Library of Alexandria does the professor mainly discuss? 1. Its collection of historical documents. 2. How it was destroyed. 3. Its importance in mythology. And 4. Why it was first constructed. Which answer did you choose? I'll give you a minute. Did you choose answer 2? Great, that's correct. Okay, let's review. Main topic questions ask us for the main topic or subject of a lecture or conversation. These questions will usually include the words main or mainly. The answer to these questions will normally be found in our notes on the beginning or the end of the recording. We should use our notes on those parts of the recording to guess an answer to the question. If we've made a good guess, the answer choice that is closest to our guess will be the right one. That's all for this lesson. Thanks for watching. Here at Prep Scholar, we've developed a new kind of TOEFL course. Try it now at toefl.prepscholar.com. Remember to subscribe and see you at Prep Scholar.